February 15th, 2020. I've taught you a lot of Dhamma already, taught you the principles. Just listening, we won't really understand. Ajahn Man, he said that the Dhamma that enters the minds of non-enlightened people is understood incorrectly. But we have to be diligent in our Dhamma practice, and we'll see the results. We'll see it in our own experience. We'll see the truth of what the Buddha taught, what the religion teaches. If we practice in incorrect ways and we can't quite get the right principles, one day we'll just get discouraged, bored of the practice. Some monks in such cases will disrobe. There are monks that practiced a long time, and then after a while they just gave up. So while we all here still have confidence in the practice, in ourselves, and we still have energy, then we must keep practicing. The more confidence we have in the practice, then the more energy we'll have, the more mindfulness and wisdom will result. When we don't have the results, the mindfulness and samadhi and wisdom, then our confidence and faith falter. So we need to learn how to make the mind ready to practice wisdom. And once it is ready, then we bring that mind to the body and mind to see the truth of them, to see their true characteristics, and do wisdom practice. It's not too hard, just breathe, be aware. At first, just being aware of the breath is what I did for 22 years since I was a child. I had no idea how to practice wisdom. I read the Tipitaka and I couldn't really grasp the principles. I just kept reading and reading, but there was no wisdom that arose in me from the reading. Reading and listening isn't true wisdom. I would listen to the Dhamma sometimes till late at night. The Dhamma radio was on 1, 2 in the morning. There would be Abhidhamma taught late at night, and listening to it, no idea what to practice. Luangpor, finally, when I learned from him, he taught how to become aware, see your own body, see your own mind, and that really entered my heart. A lot of stuff we listen to and it just makes us fall asleep. Rising, falling. A monk, Jaukun Chodok, would teach that in English. Breathing in, Bud. Breathing out, Do. After 3 or 4 times, just fall asleep. hypnotic. So let's try to find the right way to practice for us. I did samatha every single day when I was young. My mind was the stable observer, the awakened one, ever since I was young. So when I finally met Luangpor, he taught me to observe my mind. I had lots of power to the knower, and so it was easy for me to practice and see the truth. But instead of practicing to just make the mind still, we have to practice to know and not be fooled by defilements when they arise. But if we can't do that or figure that out yet, then practice samatha first. But it has to be a samatha that has mindfulness ingrained in it. If we do a type of meditation that is incorrect, just making our mind dull, we just get too stressed. This isn't the way to practice. So let's use just a normal and natural mind. Try to practice with a normal and natural mind. Let's not taper our mind. See, your mind is too tight there. If the mind is tight, the heart is tight, that means you're trying to change something, fix something. It isn't that hard. And let's just breathe, and let's use the tactic of sensing that we're sitting in front of the Buddha now. We don't have to think of the Buddha's face. We'll end up thinking about the face of a statue. Just get a sense like you're practicing in front of the Buddha. You over there, mind is too busy. Just get the sense that you're meditating in front of the Buddha. Right? Now we're aware and alert. We're not going to fall asleep in front of the Buddha, are we? We're not going to make our mind all stressed, are we? No, we're going to be very joyful for the opportunity. It's just a helpful tactic to strengthen our meditation. So when we come out of meditation, take a breath, a little bit of a stronger breath than usual. Feel the body, be aware of the body. Sometimes when we enter meditation, the body disappears. When we come out of it, we exit the practice in this way, and it won't give us a headache. So we have to practice meditation, but true meditative states, it's not easy to sustain. If we can, it's happy periods. And if we can't do that, then we just skip that and practice vipassana in the dry way. So someone came in and our minds just wavered, right? Did we notice that? Our mind moved to them. Somebody closed the fan and our hearts move and stutter. Let's notice that. So we practice to have our mind to be with ourselves. That's what real samadhi is. having our mind aware of ourselves, and then we practice wisdom. It is seeing phenomena, mental and physical phenomena. Do we know what anger is? Is anger physical or mental? It's mental. Mental phenomena are easy to notice. Physical is a bit harder, like seeing the elements of earth, wind, fire, water is hard to see. Right? Just looking at somebody, seeing a man, seeing a woman, that's not the real physical phenomena. Actually, seeing gender is something that's deeper in the genes. We can't really see that and won't lead us to wisdom. But seeing bored, seeing annoyed, seeing moody, irritated, or feeling frustrated, sometimes seeing different types of craving. Some types of craving, our mind feels strong and fresh. Sometimes with delusion, our mind might be neither fresh nor low energy. So we practice seeing mental phenomena. We'll see that all phenomena arise out of causes. Like anger comes up, we can see it arises. Anger comes up, we know again. It'll come up when there is a object out in the world that we're not pleased with, something we're not pleased with, then anger will arise. That's the cause of it. So some people, they don't get angry, and they're not getting angry because the cause for the anger isn't there. They're not making contact with things that make them angry. So if we see phenomena and get to notice phenomena that arise, soon we'll see the reasons for them. We'll see the causes as well. We'll see that all things arise and fall. Anger arises and falls. Craving arises and falls. Getting lost in thought arises and falls. Everything arises and falls. Then we're starting the Vipassana path when we see that. It doesn't come from reading or listening. It comes from seeing actual phenomena coming up in our heart. Seeing it not with the eyes, but with our mind. Seeing things arise, sustain, fall away. And we watch this way repetitively, whether it takes 7 days, 7 months, 7 years, 7 lifetimes. We keep watching. Some people are very fast to enlighten, to stream entry. I know one person, took him only 7 days, but not really 7 days. He lived near a temple, Badongku, in Surin province. He was interested in Dhamma practice, and he learned with Luangpor Gin, and his mind achieved samadhi after walking out of the temple, and he wasn't planning to ordain. His family would work in boiling wood. So there's a big pot that they were boiling things. When he saw that, he said, "Oh, it's frightening to be a lay person and not a monk. We might have to kill animals if we have to eat." And he saw the difficulties in not being a monk to keep his moral code completely pure. And he kept practicing. He would go to the temple and practice. He would come out of the temple and see the hells, and he came out of the temple another time and he saw the animal realm with his meditation abilities. And he saw an image of like an egg with boiling water under it. And there was movement of the water. When he saw this image, he felt like there's nothing uncertain. There's nothing that is certain. Don't know when that egg is going to break. It was starting to shatter. He could see the truth that there is no certainty or stability in this life. When he saw that, he ordained as a monk. He stayed in a branch of Luangpor Dun's temples, and when he ordained, he meditated until his mind was very bright, and he stayed with the bright sphere of light. He was with a monk called Luangpor, who asked him what happened. The mind entered cessation. So then the monk asked, "How does that happen? I don't understand." So then they went to ask Luangpor, the real master. He was attaching to cessation. So then he went to Luangpor Dun. At the time, you could walk straight into the temple about 3 kilometers from the road. The monk said, "That's not cessation." When Luangpor Dun said that, he let go of that light he was attaching to. His mind opened up. His practice then took another powerful step. It isn't necessary to be a monk to achieve enlightenment. It's not really about if you're a monk or a lay person. It's just about if you're practicing correctly. If we're not sure what to do yet, then start seeing mental phenomena. See anger, see greed, see delusion, but not seeing with the eyes. When I was starting my practice, my eyes would hurt a lot because I was trying to see with the eyes. Am I angry yet? Am I greedy yet? It hurt my eyes. That wasn't correct. But it took about a year before I was able to fix that problem of sort of trying to see with the eye. All we do in our practice is wrong when we're doing and trying. And slowly but surely it's less and less wrong. It's not that hard. We just practice knowing phenomena. Anger, we know what it is. Greed, we know it. The mind wandering off, we know that. That's delusion. Straying off to this, straying off to that. Right? Straying off to the nun closing the fan or the doctor that walked in. Some people can smell the food over there, right? The mind is straying off to the scents, to the smells. The mind moves out to smell. So get to see and know your own mind as it strays and moves from here to there. If you're not able to see that, then just see the mind is happy, notice that. The mind is unhappy, notice that. The mind is neutral, notice that. Happy, unhappy, neutral. Just circle around all day long. Happy, unhappy, and neutral. Cycling around. There's always one of those three in our heart. Or wholesome, unwholesome states. Those are also circling around. Wholesome states, unwholesome states, neutral states. If we see defilements, it's greeds, aversions, and delusions. When we are able to notice that, to see the defilements, then the mind in that moment doesn't have greed, anger, and delusion. No happiness, no unhappiness. See the phenomena, and the phenomena will teach us Dhamma. No one can teach us Dhamma. We have to see phenomena. The mind will understand the Dhamma. It'll understand that whatever arises falls away. It'll see greed arises, greed falls. Aversion arises, greed falls. Delusion arises, delusion falls. Happy, unhappy, neutral, arise and fall. All there is are things that arise and fall. We keep studying our mind, see it working, and we'll see every type of mind arises and falls. If we're able to see this, then there will become the wisdom that penetrates through the mind and sees that there is no self, and it'll never be mistaken about that again. See, we can feel like there's a me, there's like a permanent self in here, right? The person when we were a child and the person who's here now is the same person. The person now and the person next year, it's going to be the same person, right? Some people even see past lives and think it's the same person from a previous life. This is wrong view, misunderstanding. The stream enterer level of enlightenment can wash away this false understanding. That feeling like there's this permanent self that makes its way from the past to the present to the future. So when we keep practicing, we'll see that whatever arises falls away, and we can wash away the wrong view that there is a permanent self. All there is a self that arises extremely impermanently, extremely temporarily within our delusions and ideas, but doesn't really exist. We've been practicing with this wrong view for so long. We've been living with this wrong view for so long. So it takes us some time to start to see things correctly. We have to see phenomena, see everything arise and fall. When there's an unwholesome state, it arises, and mindfulness sees it, then a wholesome state arrives in its place. We want this, we want that. Greed arises. Greed is seen, and greed disappears. Like if we love a particular woman or man, do we love them all the time? No, that's a lie. That's not true. I can point to you and say you're lying if you say you love this person all the time. That's not true. When we're thinking of something else and we're not thinking of that person, the feeling of love disappears. Right? When we think about ourselves, we might think about loving ourselves. But when we don't think about it, it disappears. Eventually, we'll have periods where we're not feeling love at all for this man or this woman. Anger will arise. We'll be complaining about them. Some people call their wives mother for their children to hear. And they say it in a sweet, nice way, but in their heart it's different. If we're able to see that all things arise and fall, then we'll see that there is no true self. Even we'll be able to wash away the wrong view of a self. We interpret things incorrectly, and then we think incorrectly. We still feel there's a self, right? That's how we perceive it. And so then our thoughts are all about us. When we talk to ourselves in our mind and we refer to ourselves, do we use polite words for ourselves? No, it's just normal, right? We don't call ourselves sir or ma'am in our thoughts. Keep looking. We'll see that this person doesn't exist at all. It's just in incorrect thoughts where our self exists. The stream enterer has washed away the wrong view, wrong understanding. We wash it away how? We wash it away with correct or right understanding. How do we do this? We see the moving and changing of the different mental phenomena. One moment happy, unhappy, next moment neutral, one moment good, one moment bad. We can see how the self and the feeling of our self changes depending on which defilements are there. If we're angry, our feeling of ourself will be one way, greedy another way. Who's been able to see that, learns with me, that sees that the self feeling disappears from time to time? Good. So you have an opportunity to be a stream enterer one day. The enlightenment to become a stream enterer permanently washes away the wrong view of a self. Help it along a little bit when you're noticing the body and the mind and are aware. Try to see, this isn't permanent. When we get lost in thought and we're thinking about, oh, I'm this, I'm that, then we might be able to notice and say, oh, that's wrong understanding, isn't it? When we really understand, then we'll be thinking in right ways, aligned ways with the truth. The stream enterer has no feeling at all like there is a me in here. See, we feel here that there's a me, and there's at least at times a little shadow of a me following all the experiences around. Keep practicing. It isn't that hard. Just see the phenomena. Keep seeing phenomena. When our mind is too busy or too tired, then let's practice samatha, breathe, or Buddho until we have some energy, and then let's go back and continue the wisdom practice. Now let's not practice in such a way that we have a lot of hope that we're going to practice and enlighten really quickly. Let's not be careless and say, okay, I'm going to practice 7 days or 7 years, and then I'll stop practicing if I don't enlighten. Let's not think in that way. We don't achieve enlightenment because we want to, right? It just comes out of the correct practice. All right, time for the meal. Hope everybody enjoyed. Please like, please subscribe, and comment below. See you next time.